Hey everybody, welcome to Geekoholics Anonymous, episode 151. I'm your host Rico, here with my co-host.
What? Oh, that's me. Ha! Mr. Dane Cody.
Welcome everybody. We get together once a week, talk about video games, TV, movies, and or whatever we like.
And this week, we're 151 proof. What?
Hell yeah, the best proof. And we're going to be talking about God of War.
Can we talk about that now?
Oh, we can talk about it now. Well, I can talk about it. You can listen.
I don't really have much to talk about because I didn't play it.
Man, I've been dying to talk about this game. I've had it for almost a week now. Gracefully provided to me by Sony. But we'll get to that in a second. Usually we start the show with some what you've been playing, get into our news and stuff. Public service announcements and free-for-all section. If you've never been here before, that's usually the flow of the show.
The flow of the show.
Even before that, I just got to mention our ongoing Super NES Classic Mini giveaway that is going on right now. Thank you for those of you who have just started subscribing to the podcast. I hope you enjoy what you're listening to and stick around. I appreciate the reviews, which some people have left for us. Thank you very much. And like I said, that stuff matters. I've already seen a bump in our downloads, which is awesome. That makes me super happy. I'll have a link in the show notes on how to enter that if you haven't done it already. Nelson, quit being lazy. Install iTunes, you bugger. I got a short link. It's bit.ly/NES Classic Mini giveaway. And I'll take you straight to the website post that has all the details on what I'm looking for entry. It's not too difficult. Just leave a review on iTunes and then comment on Twitter, Facebook, or the website with the username you used. And I'm keeping track of all the people who've entered, and I'll track you down when I pick a winner. And that's going to be going till the end of April. So we got a few more weeks here still. So your odds are still pretty good right now. 1 in 16. They've gotten worse since last week, but hopefully they'll get a lot worse.
A whole lot worse, though. Hopefully, we were hoping for them to get much worse, but
we got some time. It's a big ask. I'll be honest. Leaving a review on iTunes is a huge pain in the ass. That's why no one ever does it. But
totally. Unless you're using unless you're a person who uses an iPhone every day and is in that ecosystem.
You know, like some people were giving me grief about, well, why can't I just retweet it or, share it and like it? And I'm like, okay, well, I'll tell you this much. In the economy of the internet, shares and likes are really nice, but they don't do jack shit.
Yep.
Reviews on iTunes, like I said, they make a difference. We got 5 reviews. And I tell you, our downloads almost doubled for last week's episode. That's huge. So that's why I need reviews. We need your help, Let's inflict this pain of me and Dane rambling on other people. But yeah, anyway, if you love the review, I appreciate it. I love it. They've gone up, and I've seen tangible return. And unfortunately, I know it's a lot of work, but it's the industry metric. And it's nice getting recognition for the work we do, because that enables us to get nice things like God of War early and special appointments at E3 when I go there, and
it definitely helps.
Absolutely. So
for sure. It
with that being said,
for allowing us to do things that we enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that being said, that's going on till the end of April. And one of you lucky guys is going to have a SNES Classic in your mailbox.
That's pretty cool.
I guess we can get into what you've been playing.
Yeah.
And the biggie. Bum, 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 bum.
You've been playing God of War.
I've been playing God of War. I got it last week. Can't remember. It was, I got it before we recorded last week, actually. I'm not sure how far or how long I've been playing it.
Okay. Like time-wise, you mean?
Time-wise, because there's no clock.
There's no clock.
I also haven't gone back to the main menu. The save files don't seem to have... They only show you what location you're at. Maybe if I quit the game and reloaded it, I could get a time. I'm pretty sure I've played at least 20 or 30 hours because I've played it every chance that I get.
Nice.
And this game is awesome. This game is so good, dude. Like, I was excited for a new God of War because I like God of War. It's been a pretty good, franchise recipe staple in the PlayStation exclusive library.
Yeah, for sure.
May have been getting, to be honest, a little long in the tooth because they haven't really done anything new. It's been the same formula. Great storytelling, crazy gigantic boss battles, but pretty much a very linear campaign, right?
Yeah, they've definitely kept it kind of keeping it
almost a little bit on rails. Like there's some freedom and puzzle solving, but nothing major.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the graphics got better, the controls got a little better, it's things like that, but overall it's been fairly standard stuff.
So this game is completely new.
Right.
The combat's different. The control is different. The perspective is different. It is still a God of War game, action, kind of beat 'em up. But it is...
I mean, they've changed the camera. They've changed a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's totally reworked. You're in control of the camera. It's over the shoulder, third person. We've got crafting. We've got gear. We've got rarity of gear types. We've got materials for crafting and upgrading. We've got money. We've got an experience system. We got a skill tree. You kind of had some of that stuff, but very, I'd say, light, RPG light in the older games. This is much more in depth, the systems in this game.
That's cool.
You have the Leviathan axe as your main weapon.
Nice.
Kratos has an axe and a shield. His shield's
kind of weird if you've played previous games.
Yeah, the Blades of Chaos are is that what they're called? They called something else.
No, they were the Blades of Chaos, man. They were fucking fused into your arms.
They are gone. Where they used to be, where they used to be, Kratos got his arms bandaged, and he's kind of got like a wrist guard. Is it a bracer? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, I think so.
The wrist armor. And basically his shield expands out of nowhere, kind of like the new Captain America shield in like the Avengers trailers. Have you seen those?
I think yeah.
Like it's not there and then it like transforms kind of like an Iron Man thing that it just appears almost.
Interesting.
It expands out of his like wrist guard, which is really cool. And then of course his axe he carries on his back pretty much behaves like Thor's hammer. He
can send it and come back, make it to come back to him.
It's frost damage. So there's there's like 3 or 4 types of combat. You've got your bare hands, because some enemies are immune to his axe. Specifically frost enemies, because frost doesn't damage frost very well.
Right.
You've got your bare hands, and then you've also got a mixture of the shield. Like the shield has its own moves in combat.
Oh, interesting. Moves. Can you use it to like bash guys and stuff?
Yeah, exactly. You can bash, you can reflect ranged attacks. The base system in this game is you've got your light attack and heavy attack. Okay. So depending whether you're using your axe or using your shield or bare hands shield, it's going to have different combos, right? Like light, or light, heavy, or heavy, or hold it down and let go. Like there's multiple combinations. He can do ground slams. He can do his rising attack to juggle enemies in the air.
Am I right to believe that there's no jump button?
There is no jump button. There is no need for a jump button. This game essentially plays kind of like a Zelda, and it's context sensitive, depending what you're doing. if you're running and do particular attacks, he'll jump attack, or if there's gaps you need to get over, you hold down the circle button and he'll jump over them. But there is no jump button like the old one, so you're not necessarily double jumping in the air and spinning enemies around in the air with the chains like you did in the last game.
But you still might be able to rip off the wings of some stuff just because you're Kratos and you're badass.
Oh yeah, your Kratos is ripping, decapitating.
Okay, so all that stuff about Kratos is also there then.
Jaw dismembering. Oh
man. He had
cutting people in
moves.
half. All the good violence that Kratos is capable of is still intact. So none of that has gone away.
Okay, excellent.
The combat system is much greater in depth than any of the other games, in my opinion. Because you've got counters, you've got your ranged combat with your axe, and then there's this whole other level. Kratos is traveling with his son, hence the dad of war. Atreus is with you, and he has arrows. So you also have another level of ranged combat because you control, and you can even aim where he shoots as well. Usually, if you're locked onto an enemy, it kind of plays like a Zelda. It's third person. You've got your evade, left, right, forward, back rolls, your shield, which if you remember in the old God of War games, if you time your shield attack when an enemy is attacking, you'll reflect their attack and stun them. So that kind of mechanic is in there still.
Yeah.
You'll remember that it does a bullet time, slows down almost, and then the enemy's just totally open for you to kick their ass.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
And it's a little different. It has their life bars. There's level numbers above enemy's head because there's a level system. I'm assuming
I was going to say you level up then, obviously, as well.
You don't level up. Your weapons and your gear levels up. And then depending on the stats, there's 7 or 8 base stats for Kratos, like his defense, strength, luck, vitality, runic, cooldown. There's all these different stats, and as they go up, Kratos's level per se goes up. I think it's more like they don't actually ever explain.
So what you're
it.
saying is it's his light level goes up.
Yeah. I guess you could say it's just
that
his
sounds
level.
Pretty much the exact same thing that Destiny does, right?
Yeah, it's
your
a little
gear makes you level up.
Yeah, except for it's not crazy numbers. I'm level 4.
Right.
I'm close to level 5 on Kratos, and then my axe is actual level 5.
Yeah,
I think from what I've seen, level 6 is the highest level.
Okay.
And I just kind of allude to this because I've seen Epic Gear, which is level 6. And I've only ever seen an enemy of level 6. Well, I don't know if they were level 6, but I saw an enemy with, they do the skull thing if it's something you should run away from.
Right. Meaning he'll kick your ass.
Yeah. And I've tried fighting some level 6 enemies while I'm level 4, and they're quite difficult. So, anyway, back to the combat. There's also a stun system. So if you remember in the old God of Wars, you kind of had finishers. That's where you got the graphic kill moves.
Yep.
In this, you got to get enemies into a stun state, and then you do those kind of finisher type moves.
Right, okay.
Or just big enemies usually always end with a really over dramatic, violent death. And, they'll be stunned and an icon will pop over their head and you'll just run up to them and press R3. There really isn't a lot of quick time events per se.
Oh, wow. That's a huge departure from the previous God of War games.
When you're doing these big, giant, finishers and stuff, you're not doing square, triangle, X stuff. Once in a while it prompts a certain button prompt, but that will usually be an attack button or something. Cause you'll sit there just curb stomping an enemy and you're basically just hitting the attack button over and over again.
Right. Okay.
And then and depending on what their life's like, they might get away from you and the fight continues, or you do the finisher, right?
Right.
The graphic finisher. There's some pretty nasty ones.
Rip their head off or
their face,
pull their arm off and beat them to death with it, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm getting kind of ahead of myself. a little bit because I'm just so excited about the combat because the combat feels so good. It's more methodical and, you're countering.
It's not as like slow and meticulous as like a Dark Souls, right?
No.
Okay.
It's much quicker than a Dark Souls, but it also is in depth like a Dark Souls. Like a crowd of enemies can really mess you up.
Okay.
You got to do some crowd control, but that's where Atreus comes in with his arrows. He has I don't want to spoil too much because some systems are kind of story dependent.
Fair enough.
He does good crowd control with his arrows. He can stun enemies
and help. What you're saying is he's useful.
Oh yeah, he's super useful. He'll mount enemies and basically.
Whoa! I didn't know it was that kind of game.
Well, he'll jump up on a big enemy's shoulders and he'll be like choking them with with his bow. And basically, if you go hit that enemy, you'll do a buttload of extra damage, or he'll straight up like stun enemies. There's some enemies that you need him to basically stun, or you can't even hit. The combat is so deep and strategic. There's so many moves. There's so many combos. There's tons of ways to mix everything up with the ranged. Like we're not even getting like there's runes that you put in your axe, which give you different special attacks. You have on cooldown. So, were you gonna say something?
No.
Like with your axe, you've got the light runic attack and heavy runic attack. So you have these runes which give you totally different abilities, whether it be like a whirlwind, like the barbarian in Diablo, where you spin around.
Yeah.
And not only do you put these runes in your weapons, which give you different special moves, you can also level them up. And not only can you level them up, depending on what your stats are, you might even get bonus perks to those attacks.
Oh, sweet.
For each, like right now, I think I have at least 10 or more light runic attacks and like 5 or 6 heavy runic attacks. And I know there's more because there's a shop where I can buy more.
Okay.
And they're awesome. They're different. It depends how you want to play. Like there's right now currently I'm using a heavy runic attack, which basically just buffs my axe. It just instantly charges the frost damage. Because as you do successful attacks and don't get hit, your axe starts glowing and doing more damage. Kind of like you're on a hit streak, combo streak almost, right? Because you remember the big combos in the old God of War?
Yeah, the more combos you did,
it doesn't do a number thing on the screen like the old ones, but your axe just starts glowing and you're doing a shitload more damage.
That's sweet.
If you're getting a lot of hits without getting interrupted or damaged yourself, which is quite cool. And anyway, the heavy rune I'm using right now instantly puts your axe into like high damage mode.
Oh, nice.
And the whirlwind one is really good too for crowd control. But there's tons of other ones. There's this big one where he jumps in the air and he slams his axe down and then all the enemies freeze. There's so many. I haven't even used them all. There's one where he calls in like a giant storm. And they have different cooldowns. They do more damage, or they do more runic damage, or they do more frost damage. So they all have they all each have different stats. There's a lot of systems in this game compared to the old God of War, which are so cool.
That's pretty sweet.
You got your money, which you use to upgrade your gear or buy new gear. You earn experience, but you actually use your experience in this game to unlock skills. So, like you have your opening combos that you get at the start of the game. Well, you can invest in the close combat tier of skills. Oh, now you've unlocked a change stance. Well, if you change stance, there's a second delay where when you hit the light button, you do a different attack and you can buy different combos. Or like I had to buy the shield skill where I reflect ranged enemy attacks. So like say an enemy shoots a fireball at me, if I time it right, not only will I counter it, I'll like basically
reflect
shoot it
back to them.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
And you buy these things, or you buy like a more devastating heavy attacks and light attacks.
That's cool.
That
sounds really fun.
It is really cool. It is a cool system. And you buy new skills for, specifically for the axe, specifically for your shield, specifically for your, Spartan Rage. That's still in here where Kratos goes crazy and just starts bashing the hell out of everyone.
Right. So I gotta ask, like, I know, like, obviously the old God of War games, like, you were literally murdering gods, and it got pretty ridiculous, where you were fighting Zeus and destroying cities and all that kind of stuff. Does this still have, like, some pretty big, ridiculous set pieces, or have they kind of toned it down a lot?
No.
No? Okay, good. Because that was something I always enjoyed a lot about those original God of War games, was just kind of how how ridiculous some of them are, really.
Oh, this is ridiculous.
Okay, awesome.
It's a better ridiculous, I think.
Right. It makes more sense than just Kratos is angry, kill everything. Because he doesn't seem nearly as angry as he used to be.
I don't. I want to tiptoe around story stuff because I don't want to spoil anything in the story.
No, that's fair.
But
that pretty much answered it as I was.
Kratos is such a different character in this game. It's the same voice actor, I believe.
Oh, awesome!
It's Kratos,
right?
Like, who's come from the other games,
right?
He's basically.
But some shit has happened, and
he's hiding away.
Changed.
He's got a family. Stuff. Events happen that set him on this adventure with his son.
Right.
They say it's his son, but I don't know if it's really his son.
Or if it's like his stepson.
Or if it's just like he's doing it, like he calls him father the whole time. But there's more to that story, which hasn't been revealed, right?
Right.
And basically, events happen. Amazing opening, which is just like, holy crap. And then you're on your way. And they kind of open the game up slowly but surely.
Right.
At first, it seems super God of War, like small areas and so forth. And then this game, I'm almost like tempted to say it's a full on open world, like Zelda. There's quests. You can go all over the place. The world map evolves as stuff happens. Different areas open up. Different abilities open up. There's a lot of backtracking. There's tons of puzzle solving.
I'm not sure how I feel about that, to be honest with you.
Oh, dude, it
sounds great,
man,
but
it's freaking awesome. It is so awesome. But it's not like there's a compass system. It does a really good job of telling you what direction to go.
Okay.
You still have to figure out how to get some stuff and get around the environment and the environment puzzles. There's tons of them. There's been tons of puzzles, which is really cool because they involve you, Atreus, using your axe's ability. Like, just, oh man, the axe, like, I can't, like, throwing the axe in this game and then recalling it, like, he puts his hand out like Thor does in the Avenger movies, and it just, like, you hear it, and it lands in his hand.
Meanwhile, I'm assuming as it comes back, it hits enemies and hurts them and stuff.
If you threw it past an enemy and it happens to be coming back, it'll go through them and damage them.
Awesome.
It is so cool. Oh my god, the world is amazing. The story, it's Norse mythology, right?
Right.
Kratos is hiding out in Midgard. This is that might be a spoiler. I think most people have seen a trailer. Sorry. And have an idea that this is where it's taking place. I think that's been.
I mean, Midgard is Earth, so
yeah, like it's like
just
Norse.
What they called Earth in Norse mythology, right?
Yeah, it's Norse. It's the 9 realms.
That's cool.
Odin and Thor, and though I haven't seen them, there's been mention of them. There's hilarious freaking characters that are awesome. It's funny.
Good.
It's sad. Kratos and Atreus you know what this game reminds me of? It's like God of War up until this point has been a last generation game. It's like these guys, like Corey, the game director, producer, whatever he is, and his team looked at stuff like Uncharted and The Last of Us. I have a huge Last of Us Joel and Ellie vibe going on here.
Interesting.
Between Kratos and Atreus. And I was like, man, these guys took lessons from these other amazing games that have happened in the generations or years since God of War's kind of been trudging along doing its same thing.
Yeah.
And taken all the best parts of those. Taken all the best parts of Zelda. Like, there's a little a Wind Waker in here. Like, you're in a boat going around a world. There's no combat when you're in the boat, but it's
right.
It's
hey, that's fine.
There's a lot of story development when Kratos and Atreus are in the boat because they're talking.
A lot of that boat combat wasn't great.
They're having conversations, and it's building story. It's building their relationship, and it's so cool. Oh man, dude, this hands down, this is my game of the year so far.
Wow. Oh, okay. I was wow, that's pretty.
And I'll tell you this much right now: I haven't beaten it. I've unlocked almost all the skills, so that's where I think that I'm probably 3/4 of the way through the game.
Right.
Because I think I've unlocked every skill in the skill trees, and I've started getting legendary gear and a couple epic gears. They do the orange, purple, blue, green kind of thing.
Yeah.
With epic being the best, legendary's purple, so kind of seems kind of backwards, but either way, whatever.
Fair enough.
And I've started getting legendary and epic gear, and the main reason I kind of am figuring out that I'm 3/4 of the way through is because I've unlocked all the skills. I think I might have 2 skills I haven't bought yet.
Oh wow! Okay,
and it shouldn't take long. But which is cool because there seems to be a lot of game left.
Wow,
which is cool because it's the worst when you get all the skills and then the game's done. So at least if I have all the skills and combos available to me and there's still a lot of game left, that makes sense. Because then I get to use those really powerful attacks and upgrades that I paid for. Like I got a really, really cool one that I just unlocked when you go into Spartan Rage, and I'm not going to say what it is, but it seems like that seems freaking amazing.
Right.
It was really expensive. It's the last thing on the tree, and it's not like getting the gravity gun at the very end of Halo or Half-Life 2 and just using it for 2 seconds. It's like, I have the gravity gun and I've still got a lot of ways to go.
Well, I mean, you got the gravity gun early on, but you didn't.
I didn't mean the
upgraded gravity.
Yeah, I meant the upgraded one. Sorry, but did they have
that
an actual name for it? Was it the Gauss gun, or it had a different name?
Just called the upgraded gravity gun, but
the one that was that would shoot the balls out, right? That just melted faces. Yeah. Dude, this is like, unless something goes sideways, this game is already in my top 5.
Wow.
This of all games. This is up there with like The Last of Us and stuff. This is an amazing reinvention of this reimagining and reinvention of this franchise.
Wow.
Unless it totally goes sideways, which I do not see. Like I would say this is easily like a 10 out of 10 for me.
Wow.
And it's huge. Like I'm not done. I still have lots of stuff to do, and I swear I've played like 20 or 30 hours so far.
That's crazy.
Like, they've just taken the best parts of a lot of the game. I
mean, I've heard it's a huge game. They were throwing around, I think, 40 hours for their engineers to play through, and they knew what they were doing and where everything was. So,
like I said, they've taken the best stuff from like Uncharted, puzzle solving and world traversal, storytelling from Last of Us, and then like just even elements with the crafting and stuff from like Breath of the Wild. Like I made an armor set, which I could only make if I took out certain enemies in the world, like these really tough enemies. And depending on what they dropped, I was able to finally craft the whole suit. Like the gear is cool. The gear looks awesome. There's different builds. You can go strength builds. You can go defensive builds. You can go runic builds. Runic is like, your rune special powers. Yeah, it's so freaking cool. I can't wait for everyone to play it. It's an awesome game, and I'm surprised because I'm like, I just figured it was gonna be another God of War, A to B boss fight, keep going down the hallway, boss fight, little puzzle solving, boss fight. There's the boss fights in here.
Yeah,
they're pretty fantastic. And there's some nice surprises. Like the Norse mythology is so cool. The premise they're kind of giving the whole setup as to what's going on is really cool. Kratos' demeanor I love his demeanor. He's angry, but he's not like angry like the old Kratos is like, oh, I'm gonna kill everybody. He's more restrained, and the way he interacts with everyone and his son is freaking cool. And I know
That's
I've
awesome.
said cool a million times, but I can't help it. Awesome, fantastic, amazing.
Hey, fair enough.
I need some other words.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, there's like a big map system. You've got, like I said, there's the main quest, there's side quests, there's little quest givers in the world. There's treasure maps.
Ooh.
So there's like stashes around the world you got to identify with pictures.
Right.
There's the traveling between different realms is really neat.
Is there a fast travel system?
There is, but I haven't truly unlocked it.
You haven't, and you're that far into the game?
I'm sure at some point I'm going to get an upgraded item from someone. So the way it works is like, obviously, like the first part of the game is a little linear, but it's kind of like the training, right? Because all these systems are new, and then you get into the wide world, and it just seems to open more and more and more the farther you get. It's like, okay, I had 2 things to do. Okay, now I can do like 4 different things.
Right. Okay.
It's always pushing you towards the main story, but then your son's like, well, we could always just explore too. Like, we don't have to go to that thing, right?
Right. Yeah.
What was I saying? I kind of lost my train of thought there.
Fast travel.
Yes. A particular person in the game gives you an item, and there's doorways, and you can travel using the Bifrost.
That's definitely a thing. Yeah.
Like everyone knows what that is from Thor, like how they would beam around.
Right.
So you've got a version of that system, but right
Rainbow
now,
Road, man.
What's that?
The Rainbow Road.
Yeah, it's a little different, but it's really cool traveling using this system. But you can only travel back to one place, which seems to be the center hub of the world, which is handy because if you don't want to backtrack from one of the different areas you've gone to, you can just kind of fast travel to the main middle area and then go from there. I've used it a couple times. It's kind of neat because it's just like almost like a loading screen almost.
Right.
But you're like going through this really cool area and conversations are happening and stuff's happening.
Sweet.
And it's really neat, but it seems like when you're on the map, it shows you these doorways, and it says, fast travel not available. I'm going to assume at some point that you can go from all these different areas that all beam back to the middle at some point. I assume you're just going to be able to go from any door to any door.
Oh, I see.
It seems like that. It seems logical, like that's going to happen, like for doing some of the side quests or getting around.
That seems like, that would definitely seem to me like that would make sense.
This game is massive. Like area wise, I already think it's bigger than any other. It's bigger than any other God of War I've played so far.
Right.
Easily. Like just in terms of like the areas I've traversed. Size wise,
wow,
man, this is a PS4 must have, and it's a beautiful game. Like I haven't even talked about the graphics. This game looks unreal. It's fantastic.
And you're playing it on?
I'm playing it on a Pro.
Playing it on a Pro, obviously. Yeah. In 4K.
In 4K, there is a graphics and there is a frame rate mode.
Oh, okay, so you can choose
there's a prefer like the 4K. I assume it would be checkerbox or checkerboard upscaling because I'm pretty sure it's not native 4K because this game, the fidelity and HDR and everything is pretty amazing. And then there's like a frame rate performance mode. I played the performance mode for a little bit.
Right.
It's tough to say. I think it might be 60 frames per second.
Actually, I believe they announced that it was 30 on everything.
Was it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I read somewhere
something
about that.
It seems faster in that other mode.
Locked 30, but maybe it's a locked 30 unless you're in that mode. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know the resolution. I know it's definitely a 30 in the 4K graphical resolution mode or whatever. I'm playing in the high fidelity mode. I want to see the game look at its best, right? For these types of games, 30, 60. 60 is nice, but it's not necessary because the effects and detail in these worlds are so awesome. Yeah, if you were on the fence Or maybe sick and tired of God of War. This is not your Uncle Rico's God of War. This is a whole new thing.
Just a whole new hotness of God of War.
It's freaking dope.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That makes... I mean, I was already excited. As soon as I saw that video that they dropped, what was that, a few E3s ago, I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah,
this looks like they're making changes to God of War for the good.
And they're all excellent changes. Like, I don't have a single complaint. There's not one thing from the old God of Wars that I wish was in here.
Right.
Except for more titties. I haven't seen any titties yet.
Okay, well, that's fair. That is, I mean, those original games did have gratuitous.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they're in there somewhere.
Fair enough.
Maybe they're not in there because Kratos' son's with him.
Maybe.
They're going for a PG.
That might be kind of awkward if you were, in the middle of a threesome with your kid.
Yeah, son, Atreus, just go sit outside.
Just wait here. Daddy's gonna be a minute. Yeah, that'd be weird. So it sounds like, and I mean, if it's a spoiler, don't tell me, but it sounds like you pretty much rock the axe and the shield the whole game. It doesn't.
Yeah,
sound
I don't think you get a different weapon.
Okay, because I mean, like those old games, you ended up getting throughout the campaign.
Swords,
you got you got all kinds of different stuff that would help you kind of along the way.
No, the weapon just changes with the skills that you unlock and the runes that you use.
Right.
So like the axe does change, and depending what runes you have socketed in it.
Fair.
Who knows? Maybe there could be a transformation of something later on. I don't know.
Right.
This weapon you have is a very special weapon.
Super special.
As evidenced by people in the world's reactions to it.
Right.
So
no, that's fair.
It's really cool. The story seems pretty fantastic so far.
I can't wait to play it, man.
Yeah.
That is definitely one of the games, like I said, I've been waiting for a long time to get into. So the fact that it's finally almost here,
pretty sure.
Pretty
so by the time this podcast goes up, the embargo is going to be up, and I think all the reviews will drop. I'm pretty sure this game is going to be 9s and 10s across the board. I don't see how. I don't know.
You're probably not wrong.
I don't see anyone. I don't know. I'd be surprised if there's people who didn't like this game. The only reason you wouldn't like this game is that you don't like third person, like combat combo style, adventure games.
Well, you got to remember, man, it's
because it's
the internet, and there's a lot of people out there.
It controls well. The combat is solid. It's not janky. Atreus is bugged out a couple times, like doing like puzzle solving in the world because you send him to go do stuff, and he's got like hung up on stuff, but then it just like resolves and he kind of like teleports. So that's like just little buggy things that a day one bug will resolve, but nothing like major.
No, that's fair.
As far as the systems and the combat and everything it's rock solid. It's tight.
Sweet.
I highly recommend.
And I'm assuming it's running fairly well on the Pro.
It runs.
Even though it's gorgeous, it's still not you're not seeing like massive frame rate drops and stuff.
It runs fantastic. You'll be fighting like 4 or 5 enemies at a time, and they're like all big enemies. They're like, or like you'd be fighting trolls and ogres at the same time, and they're giant.
Sweet.
The environments, the boss fights,
good.
The violence.
They brought me back a good God of War game.
I'm so excited for everyone to get to play it next week.
Because it is out
next Friday. The 20th.
Ugh, it's so awful.
I know, it's still a ways away.
It's like,
which makes
not just that, but it's like it's a freaking Friday. Like on one hand that's great, but on the other hand, like I'm gonna be out of town next weekend, so it's like yeah.
I'm hoping I beat it before it comes out. I'll definitely have more to say next week. Probably do a spoiler cast, maybe like after you beat it.
Yeah.
We don't want to go into spoiler territory. It's one thing to talk about the systems and stuff. I'm sorry if I spoiled that, but like I treaded pretty lightly.
Sweet.
I haven't ruined any of the surprises.
That's awesome.
There's a lot of cool shit. Yeah, that's God of War. It's dope. Go get it. Moving along. Remember last week when we made a joke about Bosky making a Battle Royale game?
Yeah. I blame this on you.
Guess what? They made a Battle Royale game, and it's out now.
I hate you so much.
I actually downloaded and played this before we recorded.
And?
I think it is the best Battle Royale game I've ever played.
I hear that it's super early.
Can you guess why I think it's the best Battle Royale game? Because I won my second game.
Oh, jeez.
First game, I had no idea I was doing. Second game, I just had a shotgun and killed everybody.
All right.
It's super early. I had a news story for this because this happened after we recorded last week. So we're not going to talk about it news. So we'll kind of combine news and what I've been playing with this game right now. It's a 80s, 90s neon kind of influence Battle Royale game.
It's almost like it's a mashup of Smash TV.
Yeah, exactly. Smash TV, The Running Man, and 90s and 80s highlighter neon color fusion. It's a little different than the existing Battle Royale games in that there's no construction like Fortnite.
Right.
It's not super army simulator like PUBG. Though it is third person, it plays probably closer to Fortnite.
Okay.
It's a little janky, of course. It's super early. Like there's buildings with like no textures, just like flat polygons.
Yeah, I've heard that.
There's no cars, but there is vehicles. Vehicle being
a BMX
bike. So I guess it's more 80s than 90s. I guess.
And I heard that you can have somebody jump on your pegs.
You can
and
have
shoot people
someone
when you
ride
roll around.
on a bike on your back. You can. Right now, there's solo and duos. I've only played solo. You drop in. Apparently, I think yesterday people were saying that you don't even drop in. You just randomly show up on the map.
I heard that you just are flying through the air and then you just land and you're playing.
So you do drop in randomly, I guess. There's no bus or plane or anything.
Yeah.
And it's also different in that it's like a grid system. And right off the bat, you can see certain areas that you can't go in. They're kind of like a void area. Huh. And instead of a circle, grids close. So they kind of funnel you towards a final area, I guess.
The grid system is an interesting one because they can also use that to, like, say, for example, cut up the map into like two chunks.
Oh yeah, when I was playing,
that's kind of an interesting idea because you could have you could shut off that grid and have 50 people in one area and 50 people in the other area and wait till they kind of kill each other down to only a couple left. And then essentially open it back so that they could see each other and almost, you know what I mean?
I don't think some interesting. I don't think they reopen, but the game that I played, my second game, that I won, the whole middle of the map was just right off the bat out of bounds.
Oh, interesting.
So you couldn't go there.
Right.
And it kind of closed down in a weird L shape until it eventually got down to the final showdown shootout.
Right.
You drop in. You don't have any weapons. There are gear and weapons littered around the map per se. But the whole real big thing in this game is cash. There's money lying around. There's registers you smash. There's presents that pop open and drop weapons or money. And you use money at vending machines to buy the better guns, buy armor, or you buy health. You heal yourself. Which I did a lot in the game that I won. It's I got into combat and I'm weak. There was no health packs. There's I can't remember what the terminal was called, but you go up to it and basically
it's an ATM.
It costs you money and it heals you for a cost. There are ATMs you can withdraw and deposit money. I don't really understand.
Well, as I understand it, the money is the one thing that transfers from game to game. So if you finish a game with lots of money, you can put it in an ATM and it will keep it essentially safe. And you can also pull money out of your ATM in order to buy stuff.
Because you drop a percentage when you get killed.
Yeah.
And I assume, I guess, if you put it in the ATM, if you got a lot of money during a certain round, if you put it in the ATM, you would lose less, if any. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, that's my understanding. And then you can use that money to obviously buy cosmetics as well as like buy better gear right off the bat in the next game that you play or whatever, right? So it's kind of like a consistent thing between rounds.
Yeah.
But when you pull the money out or put money in, you have to stand in front of an ATM and like wait for this little gauge to fill up, which then, of course, that in and of itself is a risk reward. Like you could be standing there trying to put money in your ATM and somebody could like friggin' just cap your ass,
absolutely.
Right?
That almost happened to me. So I started the game. I didn't have a weapon. And this guy, I was trying to get a weapon out of a machine, and this guy just came up and started punching me. He also didn't have a weapon. I'm like, oh, crap. Panic. I run away. There's a BMX. I jump on a BMX. I start riding a BMX around. I'm like, okay, sweet. Happen to find a shotgun, riding my bike around this building, come back around looking for the guy who was punching me. He's fighting someone else. I jump off my bike. I shotgun. The shotgun's like one shot. Like it was unreal. Like I killed one guy, and then there's another guy coming around the building. I one shot him, and I'm like, okay, I'm just using this weapon. Like screw anything else. I used a shotgun, killed two guys, gathered their gear. It has weapon slots, so it doesn't have like a backpack carry a bunch of shit kind of system. You unlock extra weapon slots and gear slots. So there's like 3 weapons and 3 weapon slots and 3 gear slots.
Okay.
And I think you only start with one of each. So like say 1 gun and like 1 grenade. I got like a cell phone, 80s cell phone, and it seems like you can call a supply drop, though I never actually ended up using it. I had a shotgun, an Uzi, and a sniper rifle. I only ever killed anyone with shotgun. I rode after the first initial craziness where there was a lot of guys. I got 3 kills. It was a good 5 minutes of like nobody around. I was on the BMX just riding around looking for people, and they have these like, cool. What's that?
I said that's kind of cool. You like,
I was just cruising around my BMX. Like you jump, you could do spin tricks and stuff, which is kind of funny. And I was
I heard there's like a half pipe and stuff in some areas, and you can like do tricks and stuff on it.
I was like, looking for a fight. I'm like, I'm not gonna win this freaking game. Like, I'm gonna die. It's like the second time I play this.
Yeah.
And then it's like, wait a second, I'm like in the top 20. I'm like, well, whatever. And the area's shrinking, and these prize wheels start falling out of this. It's like there's an announcer like, oh, and it's time for the prize round, and really corny like announcers talking as the game progresses.
Like the whole idea is that it's supposed to be like
it's like a game show,
slash TV show thing, right?
So these spin wheels fall out of the sky, and you stop the wheel and get a particular prize. There's prize doors you'll find around the world, which you essentially leave yourself very vulnerable and have to stand in front of before they open, kind of Price is Right style. And it's a brand new car.
Yeah.
But it'll be like a shitload of cash, guns, or like items. You even find like European vacation or like a brand new TV. And it's really they're just different amounts of money when you grab that stuff.
Right.
Which again, you can use for gear, guns from the vending machines you find around, as well as some of the random shit that's littered around.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's very early. Overall it controlled quite well. I felt it's not as smooth as a Fortnite, but it almost kind of felt less janky from a movement shooting standpoint than PUBG.
Right.
The game has a long way to go.
Yeah, I believe they've said that this is only 5 months worth of work. So this is, they're really just throwing this out there, saying like, hey, this is what's happening. So after that, these prize wheels drop down. I'm riding around, and then I'm like,
the area is shrinking. There's a building. I'm like, oh, there's an apartment building over there. I'm just going to go look for stuff. I found a bulletproof vest. I found a helmet. You know, some of your staples that are in the other Battle Royale games.
Right.
And then I just see this guy crouched and he tries to shoot me through the window. He's just like camping. And I just like, okay, you're dead. I lean over to the window and just boom, one shot him with a shotgun. And everyone explodes like in a big colorful splash. As money goes, like dollar bills go flying everywhere. They drop all their gear. You steal their cash, steal their ammo and so forth. Move along. So now I'm like at 4 kills. And then it's like the world's still shrinking. And again, riding my bike around for a little bit. We're down to like the last 10 and I hadn't seen anybody. And I think it might have been that like I was at one end of the L and everyone else was at the other end.
Oh,
you know? So it's like,
yeah.
I literally had to ride for like 3 or 4 minutes to get to the final shootout. And then I just still didn't see anyone for a while. And then it's like, oh shit, man, we're down to 3.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Then the circle appears and then the circle starts shrinking. And, I just hear gunshot coming around like a rock cliff. And I poke my head around. I see a guy. I take a couple shots at him. He hit me a couple times. Like, oh shit, I gotta hide. And then I hear, I guess the other guy was coming from the other direction. So he was in between the two of us.
Oh,
so I hid and I just started throwing like grenades over the hill towards the area that they were in. And I didn't kill the other guy, but he was dealing with the other guy. So then I was able to come back out and it's just like, he turned around and I'm just like, hello, plow. That's my shotgun.
Okay.
And then it's like, you're the best around. The music like busts out, and I'm like, okay,
oh, that's awesome.
I'm like, that's awesome.
That's pretty sweet.
It's, I talked a little shit about this game initially when I heard about it. It seems like it might find its niche. Is it going to be Fortnite? No. Is it going to be PUBG?
Well, I mean, I think one of the things they've already done smart though is that they've made it free to play.
Yeah. Is it going to do better than Lawbreakers? I'm absolutely certain this game is going to do much better than Lawbreakers. There's already enough here.
To be fair, that's not that hard to do.
Yes, that is true. That is not hard to do.
Not to be mean. I'm just being honest, like it was not... It did not... It was a very, very much a wet fart.
Yeah. There's enough different here that I think it might find an audience. I think they might be okay. Again, I don't think
I'm wondering if we're already starting to see the Battle Royale fatigue has already started to set in.
It's definitely very different. It is the
people
top
that I saw that already were like, oh boy, it has
Well, it's not the first one. Don't we have Paladins Battle Royale coming? We have rumors of a Red Dead Redemption Battle Royale coming.
I know. I'm just wondering, because all of these games rely on 100 people going into a map, these are gonna, like, very quickly, I feel like we're gonna know the ones that are gonna be around and the ones that aren't gonna be around.
I'll tell you this much. A lot of people
are checking it out. Being free to play is huge, right?
It was the top streamed game earlier. Now it's, looking at Twitch right now, it's second right now. Right. Ninja's playing it. I think he's got 100,000 people watching him play it right now. No, he's down to 90,000. Excuse me.
Oh, jeez. It's a slow night for him. But that's what I mean. 90,000 versus 300,000 when he was doing Fortnite. And I mean, I don't know what his Fortnite numbers look like every single day because I'm not on Twitch all the time. But I just know, like, the last time we checked in on a stream of his on a Wednesday night, he was streaming Fortnite and there was 300,000 people watching.
Yeah, it's not... I was expecting it to be total trash. I had fun. Again,
yeah,
my opinion might be a little colored because, I'm just the awesomest at Radical Heights and won my second game. I'm 50% win rate.
Fair enough, man.
I did nothing in my first game. Literally, I landed and someone just shot me because I didn't have a gun and had no idea what I was doing. And then I thought it was freaking hilarious that I win my second game.
Right.
Like, that's ridiculous.
That's fair.
Pro MLG. I should have been streaming. 90,000 people.
Probably not, but hey, anything's possible.
One can dream.
Exactly. I've just been playing more Far Cry 5. I'm
not gonna lie, I did play some Far Cry 5.
I I finally beat my first of the lieutenants.
Oh, you beat John?
I did. My game like bugged out on me multiple times, and that ended up being one of the most frustrating boss fights I have fought in a game in possibly years.
Yeah.
Oh, it was really frustrating.
I did that fight with my controller. Flying helicopters with the mouse and keyboard is fine. Driving with the mouse and keyboard is fine. I find flying planes with the mouse and keyboard is kind of weird.
What actually the problem that I ran into is
I saw your tweet or message.
Oh, man.
You were flying out of bounds, right? Is that what it was?
Yeah, like I was chasing him and he would just fly out of bounds. And so I would continue to chase him, and then eventually it would just like essentially spawn me back, and he would run out of bounds again, and I would like spawn back and it would run out of bounds again. And then it would just essentially like made me fail. So then I had to respawn on the ground, which was a super, super shitty thing. So you start, I mean, I won't spoil everything, but you start, I guess, how do I really talk about this without spoiling it for anybody? Essentially the fight, when it reset me, it put me in the closest sort of fast travel point to where I was when I went out of bounds. So nowhere near the airplane that I needed. So then I had to go back and find an airplane, which I did. So then I jumped in an airplane, not realizing at the time. And as soon as I jumped in this airplane, it automatically started up the airplane mission, and I couldn't change it. I don't know if the game like bugged out or what happened, but like I tried to change the mission to go back to I want to shoot and kill John.
Oh,
and it wouldn't let me.
That plane was like a story mission plane.
Apparently. So like I had to do this stupid story mission. Then I could turn around and go try to kill John.
You know what you should have done? You should have hit escape and did reload checkpoint.
Yeah, well. So anyways, I did that. Then I was in the wrong plane for the job, clearly. So then I had to so then after I died for like the fourth time in this whole thing, I went back down, found the airstrip, spawned the proper airplane, and managed to get it sorted. But like honestly, wow, I've honestly not had a boss fight that was that buggy and that frustrating in so long. Like it almost pushed me over the edge to the point where I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I don't need this kind of shit in my life. But I pushed through it. I got it sorted. John's gone. I continued to play. That moment passed, but man, yeah,
sometimes there's a little bit of jank that I haven't had a lot of bad luck, but there's been some janky instances.
I'm amazed that you and I, like, our two experiences, like, it just must be part of the way we both play the game. But like, that is honestly, like, I'm enjoying, like, don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying the crap out of my time with Far Cry 5. I really enjoy it. But I cannot remember the last time I played a game that is this janky and buggy as Far Cry 5.
Yeah, the vehicle stuff can be kind of wonky. That's why I said, like, me and Trevor playing and trying to do one of those stunt type missions.
Yeah,
where you're racing a plane or a car or whatever. And I don't know. The first one we found was flying a plane through trees and tight turns.
Yeah,
and it was like impossible with the controller or with the keyboard. Sorry.
So you use a controller?
So, I got the Xbox One controller synced to my PC, and it's like, did it first try.
Yeah.
Like, flying planes is so much easier with the controller. Because they do the down is up, up is down plane type controls, and it gets a little weird when you're trying to turn and fly and accelerate and do it with the keyboard and the mouse. It's just not very intuitive.
Yeah. Yeah, no. So anyways. So
especially when you're doing a dogfight in two planes.
Yeah, it's
not
real
the easiest
annoying
thing.
Yeah. Like I said, it's just been a variety of things kind of like that, unfortunately. And I'm hoping that like they're obviously working on patching it, and I'm sure that they'll get some of that stuff patched out. But it's surprising to me just because I've played obviously Assassin's Creed Origins, and I don't know if I came across any bugs. Like, that game was so polished, it was insane.
Yeah, I think the open world vehicle games, like, I think there's another level to jankiness when you have so much freedom of stuff you can do.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about before where I've like relegated or liberated an area and then like had to come back to it because I did it too soon, and now a whole bunch of dudes are back and I have to do it all over again because there was a story mission or whatever that happened there.
Just stumbled upon it, and
yeah, some of that stuff is a little bit like, okay, well, whatever. But yeah, I get that it's weird though, because like some of the other games that I like obviously played, and I mean, I guess that this has more of a story, like a single player story into it than obviously something like Ghost Recon Wildlands. But like the way that they handle it in that is so just like, fuck it, yeah, do whatever the hell you want, whenever the hell you want. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's and they handle it really well in that. But I guess trying to have more of a single player actual narrative story and stuff like that in the Far Cry game might make that a little more challenging. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. We're in the third area now.
Oh yeah, you are?
Yeah, I'm in the third area, and I've almost maxed out the resistance level to provoke Jacob's fight, and then obviously I'm the Uplay launcher, I think, says I'm like 80-something%.
Oh, okay.
So I'm pretty close. If I didn't have God of War, I would have beaten Far Cry by now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's definitely what I've been playing, and I'm trying to keep playing it because I am enjoying my time with it. Just so much of the like fuck around stuff in that game and that type of stuff is so much fun.
Yeah, like I've unlocked every perk except for I haven't unlocked any of the guns for hire perks because I've strictly been playing it co-op for the majority of it, so I haven't even really used any of them.
Right,
which is kind of unfortunate because a lot of the dialogue for the guns for hires is pretty good or pretty funny.
Yeah, some of it's pretty good.
Like I really like the one chick who flies the helicopter.
Oh, I just got to her. I haven't. I liberated the area she's in, but I haven't actually like finished her missions yet. I can't remember her name, but
when you call her in, she arrives in a helicopter.
Yeah.
And she actually gets out. But if you get into her helicopter, one of the lines she said when I was piloting the helicopter, and then she jumped in and she's like, "Punch it, Chewie." And then there's like a pause.
That's awesome.
And then she's like, "That got you really excited, didn't it, you fucking nerd?" Which was pretty funny. I'm like, yes, it did. I was like, that's awesome. And then she insults you immediately after, which was pretty funny.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And there's lots of that. Like, is it Herc, the guy with the rocket launcher? He's always saying dumb, funny shit.
Yeah. I've unlocked the cougar, the dog,
Peaches, Boomer.
Yeah, the male pilot, the guy that flies the airplanes,
Nick.
And like I said, I liberated her, but I haven't finished her missions yet to actually unlock her. The helicopter pilot. Mm-hmm. So those are the ones that I've unlocked so far.
Yeah, she's at an outpost, and then she gets to go do another mission.
And I'm debating if I want to go do Faith stuff or if I want to just go up and start messing around with Jacob.
Faith stuff's pretty cool.
Stuff's weird.
It's more it's more the drug trip shit.
Yeah, like it's definitely like there was already like I was trying to go get Peaches, and I was running up towards where her thing was at, and all of a sudden like I went into like some weird crazy drug trip and like woke up across the map in a whole nother area.
Yeah.
And I was like,
when
what
she
the
when she
fuck?
confronts you,
Like,
she basically just teleports you to like Bliss Land.
Yeah.
And then up top, Jacob's stuff is all military, like military programming and like,
Interesting.
You know, strapped down in chairs looking at murder videos and violence.
Yeah,
and
messed up stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. I feel like they designed it more to be John, Faith, Jacob.
Yeah, it kind of seems like that to me as well.
Like that, like the way they kind of seem to try to pull you. Like obviously they try to pull you to John's first. They're like, yeah, you can do this any way you want, but we recommend you get over here and liberate Fall's End. Which was actually really funny because I took so long to liberate Fall's End that they liberated themselves, so I didn't have to do that. I did like everything else and I never went to Fall's End, and then when I finally went there, there was just everybody was there, and I didn't actually have to liberate Fall's End. So
I wonder if
that was just kind of cool.
Inadvertently did it without noticing.
Yeah, they said something about like somebody when I talked to one of the people, they were like, yeah, we saw all the stuff that you were doing, and it made us think that, you know, we should do our part. So we came back here and we managed to take back Fall's End. I was like, yeah, man, if I could high five you, I would, because it's one thing less that I need to worry about.
That's funny.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool.
It's a cool game. It is. It's probably one of the more janky or buggy Far Cry games, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But it is a solid Far Cry game.
It's been stable, I'll give it that. I remember Far Cry 3. That game would consistently like crash and bug out and do like weird things performance-wise when I first started playing it. But of course, towards the end, they'd like got it sorted out and it ran fine. Mm-hmm. And I'm finding that this runs great. Like it runs fantastic and it, you know, plays well and it looks good and everything else. It's just the actual like game engine jank and broken missions and things like that is like the part of it that's weird. So
yeah.
All
right. Well, moving along. Let's get into our news and stuff.
Got a lot of cross-platform news this week.
Michael Ironside is returning as Sam Fisher.
Hells yeah, he is.
Maybe not in the way you were anticipating, though. This story from Kotaku, but obviously it was everywhere, so it's not exclusive to them. But it's part of the Ghost Recon Wildlands Operations Year 2 DLC.
Speaking of which, you can play now.
Yeah, apparently it's like a stealth mission. I saw someone complaining somewhere that it's much stealthier than they're used to in Wildlands.
I've also heard it's really difficult.
Yeah.
Mainly because, like you said, it's very stealthy, which that game is kind of, I don't know, at least the way I've been playing it is, there's been a few times where I've managed to get in and get out somewhere without being seen at all, but a lot of the times it's like I'm pretty stealthy for a bit and then all of a sudden everything goes to hell and I'm like, well, here we go. So
it's, I haven't played it. There's a bunch of new shit. I gotta go back to play Wildlands, but
that game is,
it's cool that it's Michael Ironside because he's Sam Fisher to me. That's my Sam Fisher.
Same. I mean, he only missed the one game, which is actually a really good game, which is too bad.
Seems like a Splinter Cell game is on the horizon. Kind of seems like a no-brainer, doesn't it?
I don't know. Like, did the last Splinter? I don't know if if that last Splinter Cell game sold well. But that being said, like, what is Ubisoft Shanghai working on? Like, weren't they the ones that made that last Splinter Cell game?
I don't know. I know they do a lot of asset stuff, so
no, that would actually make sense, I guess. Support studio.
I don't know if I care to talk about this next story. Do you?
No. I don't care.
Okay. Then I'm going to remove it. Grand Theft Auto 5 has made more money than any film, book, or game ever.
Yeah.
90 million units sold.
Over
Apparently,
$6 billion in revenue.
yeah, according to industry analyst Doug something.
Krutz.
That's crazy.
Yep.
The game came out. When did it come out? 2013?
Was it 2013?
Wow, yeah, that's when I started my job. That's right. 5 years ago. Well, my new job. That's insane.
Not so new anymore.
Yeah, I wonder, considering how much money, and actually, to be honest, GTA 5 has seen a big dip recently because of Fortnite.
Fortnite, PUBG, those types of games.
Yeah, their GTA Online has been doing very well, but those games have dipped into their pockets a little bit. Especially with, Fortnite being free to play. The barrier to entry is none. It's on every console and it's free. It's going to be interesting to see if Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to have like an online system similar to, I don't know how, I guess you could have like a barn or a farm or a homestead or something, and instead of cars, it's like horses, or maybe there'd be like a farming sim kind of mechanic where you raise money, and I don't know, it'd be interesting. I imagine it seems kind of like it would be obvious that they do some kind of online thing to, keep the money train
I don't know. I mean, I've heard rumors, obviously, we've talked about on this show before about them having some sort of a battle royale mode in that. I don't know. Like,
there's rumors of a battle royale
at this point.
Mode
Do they just keep developing GTA 5 online and stuff?
Yeah.
Do they?
I'm sure they do. I don't think they'd
GTA
stop.
6 at this point. Like,
that's the thing,
or at least not for a long time.
They gotta make a GTA 6, but yeah, I guess Red Dead's gonna tide us over for a few years. So we probably won't see a Grand Theft Auto 6 for at least another 3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
that's crazy to think.
That one came out in 2013. It's 2018 now.
I know. Wow, that's crazy.
So
good on them for making a buttload of money. Grand Theft Auto 5 was a fantastic game.
Yeah.
I had the Sam Fisher story twice, so I just deleted it. I didn't realize it. Mega Man Legacy X Collection got a release date. It's launching in July, if you remember. Can't remember where this was teased. I think it was on the Mega Man's birthday or anniversary. They talked about the Legacy Collection coming to Switch. The original 1 and 2 collections.
Yeah, they did their whole Mega Man birthday.
Yeah, so this is the Mega Man
a while ago.
X collection. And that's coming July 24th.
That's pretty cool. I still.
So they're breaking it up into 2 collections. That's so weird.
Oh, it's Capcom.
4 games in Legacy Collection 1, and then 4 games in Collection 2. That's dumb.
I don't know why they wouldn't just release this as 2. They're both going to be $20.
Well, I guess that's not terrible.
And apparently consoles will also receive a $40 physical release. And that includes both volumes, each on a separate disc, while the Switch bundle features a cartridge containing the first collection and a digital download code for the second.
That's so dumb. Switch games cartridges seem so small.
They're not.
Did I tell you my SD card corrupted on my phone?
Ooh.
I just think about it because I would be so pissed if my SD card corrupted on my fucking Switch.
Well, I don't have an SD card on my phone, so. Because I can't get one on my phone.
And I won't be able to get one on my new phone.
Yeah,
anyway.
Exactly.
Moving along, Destiny 2's next expansion is called Warmind and is coming out next month.
I feel bad for Destiny 2.
They released their breakdown. I haven't launched Destiny 2, I think, in probably at least a month.
I haven't even thought about Destiny 2 in probably at least a month. And that's what I mean. I feel bad for Destiny 2.
They just shared the name. and the release date.
Okay.
They didn't really share.
Is that going to be the kickoff of what they're considering season 3 then?
Season 3.
Oh, okay.
Private matches, vault space increase, multi-emote, exotic weapon masterworks, seasonal vendor progression, exotic weapon sandbox changes, heroic strike modifiers, nightfall challenge cards. Half of that stuff is stuff that was in Destiny 1. I've heard the player base on Destiny 2 is like
dwindling hard.
Yeah, it's like only the most hardcore that are left at this point.
Yeah, I mean,
it
wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if that happens until the new
it'll definitely
the new update.
It'll surge back up. There's been a couple things. There's been the phenomenon Fortnite. There's been Monster Hunter came in January, which probably took a lot of players because it's that loot grind kind of thing, right? And they've just Bungie's just been making mistake after mistake after mistake. It's just insane that they're doing the same mistakes that they did with Destiny 1, and that features that were in the first game are not even in this game. You know, after the shiny, fresh coat of paint dried and quit distracting us all, and we noticed what wasn't there. Like, the changes were fantastic, but then the stuff that we had lost at the same time, people were like, what? This makes no sense.
Yep.
And then the amount of time it's taking them to re-implement some of this stuff. Anyway.
So they also announced that all Crucible maps for Warmind and Curse of Osiris will now be available to all players. In order to keep the community in the Crucible unified, everyone will see new arenas in match-made playlists. That means more opponents for everybody. Well, I mean, that's smart, so you're not cutting up the player base.
Yeah.
So even people that didn't necessarily buy those expansions will still be able to play those maps in the Crucible.
Yeah. That's interesting.
I feel like is just smart. But
yeah, it's absolutely smart, but it also says that their player base is shrinking if they got to combine and give stuff away free.
Yeah, there are clearly not enough people in certain modes that they're like, shit, we can't afford to do that.
This is kind of funny story and a dumb story. Drake says he'll rap about Fortnite if Epic makes a Hotline Bling emote.
Oh, jeez.
I'm honestly surprised after the whole Drake Ninja thing that hasn't already happened.
I would not be surprised if they do that.
Destiny has...
I feel like Epic is on top of their game right now, and I feel like they would kind of be dumb not to do that. So, I mean, yeah, this would not surprise me if this happens at all.
Like, the original Destiny has a Hotline Bling freaking emote. Like Destiny 1 that came out in 2016.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. Hey, rich people getting stuff they want. Surprise.
Yeah, exactly.
Overwatch's new PvE event is back. Retribution. Have you played this?
I'm trying to remember. Is this the one where it's like waves of enemies?
Take down swarms of killer soldiers. I've never played it. I don't think I even played the Retribution mode last year.
Yeah, no, I played this. Me and Vert played this a while ago.
Apparently, it's got some like story stuff. It's a Black Watch Reapers, not Bad Reaper yet.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It was the one that we played, though. I don't know if it's the same one. The one that I played, I believe last year, it was almost like there was.
They're bad.
Like zombies.
Blackwatch lore. Never mind, they're bad. McCree, Genji, Moira, and Reaper.
Huh.
I think it's on right now. I don't know how long it lasts for, but apparently people really like it.
That's cool.
Overwatch
is another game that I haven't
still doing things.
Haven't played much of recently.
Demands so much goddamn time.
I know,
but you know it's free. Like, that's cool.
Yeah, all those updates, they just keep updating it for free. You just log in and they're all there. It's pretty dope.
New characters, new maps. It's a game that keeps giving.
Yeah. Yeah, that definitely does that.
Stardew Valley multiplayer will be ready in about a month.
I don't know what that's going to look like.
The developer, the testing, they're making good progress on fixing bugs. It should be good in about a month.
I'm just wondering, what does that look like? Like, what do you...
Teased in January, announced in 2016.
Like, does that mean you jump in somebody else's game, or do you start a new game as a multiplayer where there's like other players in your area?
I'm not sure. I'm trying to read here.
Can you go like fuck with your neighbor and like rip up his garden?
You just do stuff together. I imagine it's cooperative. I can't find any details. I guess we'll find out in about a month. But man, there's another time sync game with more content coming.
Game's so good. Game's one of those games that I'm like half scared to play just because I lose so much time. I lose so much time playing that game. Mm-hmm. It's like I blink and there goes like 12 hours. I'm just like, whoa.
Yeah, I need to get back into it. I have it on my Switch and they've updated it a bunch.
Yeah.
But I haven't really touched my Switch in a while.
Yeah, I actually haven't either, now that we are talking about it.
Well, I went on that Castlevania rip, so that's done. So now I might start playing my Switch again. Xbox had their Inside Xbox video this month. They announced a bunch of back compat games, like the original Xbox games that are coming to Xbox One.
Right.
There's a bunch of them. You can see the list in the show notes. I'll post the link to the story so you can see the full list. Conquer Live and Reloaded, that's a fun one. Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, Panzer Dragoon Orta, SSX 3, Mercenaries, Star Wars Battlefront 2, the good one. Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, Republic Commando. There's some cool games in there. These are Xbox One, not 361. And then, of course, they announced some 360 games that were actually getting enhanced for Xbox One X.
Right.
Which were like Red Dead Redemption, Portal 2, Force Unleashed, Sonic Generations, Gears of War 2, and Darksiders 2. And apparently, they're like upping the res, performance. Digital Foundry did a video on Red Dead Redemption, I believe, and saying that on Xbox One X that it looks pretty freaking awesome. Like for just a backwards compat free upgrade, that's pretty impressive. I own that game on 360 and I'm very interested to check that out.
Fair enough.
So that's cool. And that's
Sweet.
the one. That's a really cool feature of Xbox. I must say, like, I got my 360 sitting behind me on a shelf, unplugged. I'm honestly just tempted to get rid of it completely because there's really no reason I need it. Because the majority of the games that I cared about on that system, I can play on my X.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's like, why do I need this giant power brick, ugly freaking thing here?
I have mine sitting behind me, so it's a similar thing.
I don't think they're even really worth a lot.
No, they're not.
Microsoft also announced more details for their Xbox Fan Fest that's going on at E3, which is weird. They're doing a raffle. You can be a chance to win the ability to purchase tickets. There's a cost for it. It's $45.
What?
So I don't know how that really works. They're giving 1,000. Is it 1,000? Tickets to the briefing, which is what's happening on Sundays at the press conference.
Right.
And then 400 people for Fan Fest. Oh, so they're giving away 400.
Okay.
But then it's like the ticket's $45. So actually, if I had to pay for one of these, I might pay for it because you get some stuff, some swag. One of the swag is a 2 terabyte game drive for the Xbox. Fan Fest jersey, Seagate 2 terabyte hard drive. Sea of Thieves Special Edition. With exclusive Sea of Thieves in-game content and 1 month of Xbox Game Pass. For $45, a portable 2 terabyte hard drive is worth more than $45. Plus a jersey, so I guess value-wise is not a bad deal.
Yeah, there you go.
Microsoft has started taking their list down for E3, and I let them know I'm going. So I'm pretty sure I will be checking out FanFest or whatever they have going on down there.
Very cool.
Don't know if I'll have to pay or if
that'll work.
Probably if I get into this, I probably won't get the tchotchkes if I don't buy a ticket. But
right.
Anyway, I guess that's cool. I was like, at first I was like $45. I don't want to pay, but then if you get something for it, then I guess it's not a bad deal. It's kind of weird though. So then I'm gonna guess you don't need an E3 badge.
That is a pretty good assumption.
Yeah. So I don't think they could charge if it was part of E3, but it's their theater, so they can do whatever they want. Yep, Microsoft Theater is like literally outside of Staples Center, which is next to the convention center. So,
right,
like a 2-minute walk, 3-minute walk out of the convention center. Only because these buildings are so gigantic.
Yes.
Yeah, moving along. No public service announcements except for a reminder. Enter our SNES Classic mini giveaway.
That's the thing that's happening.
And then, free for all. You saw Ready Player One.
Yeah, I did.
What'd you think?
I really liked it. I liked it a lot.
I've heard good things.
It was...
I never read the book.
How do I explain it? Yeah, I did not. I
know
also
people were crazy for the book.
I will definitely preface this by saying I did not read the book. There was... Oh, man, I don't... Like, it was a spectacle. We saw it in AVX in 3D. I went with some people from work on Monday. We all went and saw it. And, no, I really enjoyed it. I went into it not knowing what to expect. Obviously, I kind of had an idea, like roughly a little bit about what the sort of the general plot was. You know, crazy programmer dude builds a game, dies, leaves an Easter egg. Kind of like I kind of knew that, but that was about the like extent of my sort of knowledge. It felt very Spielberg-esque, you know, with sort of the kids being the protagonists and just that whole thing. It's weird as somebody who grew up watching E.T. and so many different Spielberg films growing up. This had a quality to it that almost felt a little bit like I don't know how to explain it. It was almost a little bit like that comfort movie almost in a weird way, even though it wasn't, but just the way that Spielberg, you could definitely I don't know, I felt like you could definitely tell it was from him. The visuals were obviously stunning because you're inside a video game for a large majority of the game.
Yeah, I guess it's like just a CG fest, eh?
Oh yeah, like it's crazy. The one thing, I mean, I think a big difference obviously was in the book. It was 80s like pop culture, like that was specific to the book. Like it was all about the 80s pop culture. And that was like very specific in the book, whereas in this it wasn't so much 80s pop culture that they went hard on. It was like just pop culture, and obviously it was the pop culture from when the creator was like creating and being alive and stuff, so it wasn't quite so much honed in on the 80s like I do know it was in the book. But there's a ton of obviously Easter eggs in there. If you watch it, there's so much stuff about, you know, like there's characters from everything. I couldn't believe some of the characters that they had in there. And like, I don't know how on earth they like, I don't know if they were just such quick flashes that they didn't actually need to license all of them. Like, I don't know how that stuff works, but honestly, it was crazy. Like, everything from Spawn to Halo to Overwatch, multiple Overwatch, and obviously like ninjas from multitudes of games and G.I. Joes, and like, oh man, the list honestly goes on and on and on.
You didn't go with your wife, did you?
No, I didn't.
You went with people from your work. Do you think a wife would enjoy it?
I think it really depends. It's funny because like when we saw the previews and stuff, my wife was like, I don't really, no, it just doesn't really look like anything for me. And I was like, yeah, that's fair.
The trailers didn't turn me on either, even with all the nostalgia stuff. I'm like, I just don't know.
Yeah, no, I was the same way. If it wasn't for the fact that I went to like a bunch of people from work were like, oh, we want to see it. We'll do like a work thing. We'll get a bunch of us together. And I was like, fuck it. I'll go. Sure. I got nothing else going on a Monday night. Sure. Like I'll go check it out with you guys. I probably wouldn't have seen it either. Just cause it was on my radar, but I don't know. I just didn't feel the need to see it. And then funny enough, like actually after seeing it, I actually am pretty sure my wife would have liked it. I really do. Like, I feel like there's enough of a story between like a human story there mixed with some really cool visuals, and just like, I don't, cause like we had one of the girls from our office, she came with us and she's not really into a lot of that stuff. And she really enjoyed it. She really had a good time. She thought it was great. So clearly, like, if you're not super into all that, you don't get every single reference and Easter egg and things like that. Like, I don't think that will not make you enjoy this movie. Like, I think obviously
you don't really need to know all that stuff.
No, because it's so like, much of it is cool, like background. Totally. Like, if you didn't know who Spawn was in that one scene where he pops up very, very like briefly, that you wouldn't know. You know what I mean? The Iron Giant is super cool. There's a scene with Godzilla and King Kong and those types of things that are all really neat. But yeah, like ultimately, I don't necessarily think that if you, I just don't feel like that's needed, just because of the way it's set up and it deals with all of it. It's so much more of, this is eye candy for the people that are looking for it. But it really, if you didn't know what all that stuff was, you would probably just be like, oh, these are all like avatars and interesting characters in the game, because that's exactly what they are, right? And obviously, if you're a giant nerd like we are, then you see a bunch of that and like, oh man, the Halo guys, oh, that's cool. And like, oh, hey, it's Spawn. And oh, hey, that stuff in your brain, you can kind of go, oh, this is so cool. But I don't necessarily feel like that added a ton to me to be like, oh, wow, So I will say that I do think that it is absolutely worth seeing in the theater, though, because that movie is just a giant spectacle. I will say that I do feel that after seeing it now, I did very much enjoy it. I did think that it was a worthy film to watch in the theater.
Yeah, I was just trying to decide. It's my wife's birthday on Friday, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll take her to dinner and a movie. Right. And I was looking at the movies, and it's like, it's Rampage or Ready Player One. I'm like, I think Ready Player One looks a little bit better.
It's, the thing is that it has that Spielberg whimsy to it. He does a really good job of taking, like the movie has its faults. Like, don't get me wrong, this isn't like a 10 out of 10. It wasn't like I was absolutely blown away, like, but I really did enjoy it. I liked what they did. I liked the humanizing aspect of it. It had great like moments where it was funny. It felt in a weird way, and maybe this is me just remembering incorrectly, because it's been honestly years since I've watched E.T., but it had sort of a bit of an E.T. quality to it, where it's that like kids kind of, they got that innocence and they're growing up and like they're not obviously quite that young, but I don't know, it had a similar kind of vibe for me with it, you know, kind of down on their luck. And yeah, I don't know, I really did enjoy it, and I am actually contemplating if I want to take my wife to see it in the theater, just because I do think it's worth seeing in the theater, just for the spectacle of it all. So yeah,
nice. Well, I might have to take her to that then. It looked decent. And I've heard people I've heard on the internet that I trust in my Twitter feed and social spaces say it's pretty decent.
Yeah, no,
it's just a good popcorn summer action flick.
Totally, it's absolutely. So
that's good.
Yeah,
some people are talking trash about it, but it seems overwhelmingly positive.
You could definitely find faults in the film. Like, don't get me wrong, and I can definitely understand how some people could walk away from it and go like, yeah, that wasn't really my jam. And like, I get that for sure.
They're more into peanut butter.
There you go.
Nice. Sweet. I think I'm going to have to check it out.
Yeah.
It was on my radar.
Oh, I mean, Rampage looks kind of big and ridiculous and kind of awesome all in its own right.
A friend of mine went to the premiere in LA last week or whatever.
Yeah.
And I asked him what he thought, and he's like, it's a fun destruction movie, like along the lines of San Andreas. He's like, if you like The Rock's humor and action, he's like, it's like that. It's that.
Yeah.
So he's like, it's not
amazing,
but he's like, it wasn't bad. He's like,
I feel like it would be a fun movie in D-Box.
Yeah. Or
with the seats and everything, like just going crazy and whatnot.
I think I might just wait for that one for video on demand, but
fair enough.
I think Jumanji was pretty good, but I think Jumanji's better than this. Better than Rampage.
I still want to see Jumanji.
It was good. It was entertaining. It was really funny.
Yeah.
It was surprisingly good because those trailers made that movie look like a dumpster fire.
Yeah, that movie definitely didn't look great.
With that being said, Dane, I think we have an episode, my friend.
Sweet.
Episode 151. You can follow me on Twitter at RickF.
You can always come bug me on Twitter at Dane Cody at DaneCody.
Remember to subscribe to us on youtube.com/Geekoholics. Like us on facebook.com/Geekoholics. Follow us on Twitter at Geekoholics and the Insta. And of course, don't forget to enter our SNES Classic Mini Giveaway. Got to the end of August. It's not that hard. Just do it.
Do it.
Help some brothers out. And yeah, pre-order God of War. Oh, and one thing, don't worry about pre-order bonuses. I've noticed they're like shield skins. Literally, that's all they are, is skins.
Right.
There is no like better shield or anything you need to be concerned about with that. So just get it wherever it's cheapest. Don't worry about the skin. It's purely cosmetic when it comes to the shield. And I don't think there's any pre-orders for gear like armor or anything. So I don't think that's any of the pre-order bonuses. So anyway, yeah.
Sweet.
We're out.
Later.
Peace.